You are Locked On Marlins Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Fish fans? Welcome to your Locked On Marlins Postcast. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries. And a big win today for the Marlins at home against the lowly Chicago White Sox. I know they're terrible. You have to beat these guys. Every time you play them, you should win. But, man, a big win today. Late inning heroics, man. They love to score late. These Miami Marlins, the cardiac kids, the late night menu, open for business all night long in the MIA. And look at great Dane Myers right there, smashed a 420-foot home run in the seventh inning. The White Sox had led 3-0, and the Marlins were chipping away, chip. Myers and Xavier Edwards had RBI singles for Miami to cut it to 3-2, and then Myers in the seventh, bang. A.J. Puck 1-2-3 in the eighth after Brazoban struck out 5 in 2 innings to get the win, and great Scott, Tanner Scott, with the the save in the ninth inning, man. 1-2-3, perfect inning for Tanner Scott. 13 saves for him, the lucky 13, Dan Marino's number. 13 saves for Tanner Scott, and the Marlins pick up the win after that 5-game losing streak. Disastrous for them, and man, oh man, as Joe Angel used to say, they are in the win column. He didn't throw up the W like I did, whatever. Anyway, point being, 4-3 Fish, you're Locked On Marlins Postcast. We are pumped to have you here. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. We're free, available wherever you get your podcast, and I mean wherever. Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean. See what I'm doing here? All over God's green earth. We're free, and we're also on YouTube right here, Locked On Sports Miami, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's episode of the show is brought to you by Booking.com. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your rivals. Check out Booking.com for your stay today. All right, Marlins fans, look at that, man. I got told by the bosses that I have the nicest visually appealing set on the network, and I like to think, maybe the best looking too, but no, look at this. We got the whole setup here. Dane Myers, bang, look at him locked in. That's when you know right there that your swing is dead on. And look at him. He's got the guns. He's got everything. Look at that bat. Look at the way the shoulder dips down. It's all lined up right down the leg perfectly, symmetrically. Bang, right there. The arms coming through, the wrist turning over, and the ball gonzo, baby, and a big swing for Dane Myers and a big win for the Marlins, right? I mean, look, you win 31 games so far, and you snap a 5-game losing streak. You had a couple of bad losing streaks this year, right? We talked about the 9-gamer to start the season. Then you talk about a 6-gamer and 3 5-gamers. Losing streaks like that will just murder your season. No doubt about it. They had lost Game 1 3-2 yesterday, and they were chipping away, chip. Had the tying run and the winning run on base yesterday as the game came to a conclusion when Josh Bell grounded out, but not tonight. They still can't hit. They're still having a lot of trouble there, but man, the bullpen again. And Yonny Chirinos did all right today, and not exactly a quality start, an inning short of that, but 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned, and 5 strikeouts for the 30-year-old. Brazoban was great, man. So was A.J. Puck. Brazoban, A.J. Puck, and Tanner Scott in 4 innings, 2 from Brazoban. He struck out 5. A.J. Puck in 1 inning struck out 2. Tanner Scott only got 1. But 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, no hits, no runs for Brazoban, Puck, and Tanner Scott. That's unbelievable. Man, this bullpen. Great job, guys. I mean, this bullpen's unbelievable. One of the better bullpens in Major League Baseball, the Miami Marlins. And the Red Sox do, too, although they got crushed by the Yankees today. I love that, man. It was 14-4 in, the 7th inning. But, the Marlins and the Red Sox have 2 of the better bullpens in the league. Chirinos was all right. Ryan Weathers working out with the team. He will be coming back soon. He's not throwing yet with that strained finger. Luzardo probably the end of the month. So you get those 2 lefties back who were pitching really well for this team. And you wonder why you had lost 8 of 11 and 9 of whatever and 10 of whatever, because Weathers, Luzardo, I mean, you're bringing guys up like Kyle Tyler, bringing guys up like Hoeing, back and forth, up and down, AAA, major leagues. When you're bringing guys up from AAA, let me explain to you how it works in organized baseball at this level, okay? And you guys probably know, a lot of you, especially, I can't remember what I'm supposed to call you, the everydayers or the day-by-dayers. I think it's the everydayers. I'm getting there, guys. I promise I'm getting there. But I'm excited because day in and day out they get better, and day in and day out they get closer to getting those pitchers back. It's been musical freaking chairs as you sit in that clubhouse with those pitchers, lockers. And let me explain to you how it works, right? When you are making your trek through the system, through the minors to get to the big leagues, the best players usually never make it to AAA. Now, that's not fair to say necessarily because a lot of great players do go to AAA. But what I mean by that is they're so good, the young phenoms, they get called up. Some of them don't even hit AA. But usually it's AA that's the launching pad to the majors. If you get stuck in AAA for any amount of time whatsoever, it's for one of two reasons. Usually it's because they have someone in the big leagues who's there for years and years and years. I had a friend named Eric Tanucci growing up. What's up, E-Bob, if you're watching this, man. E-Bob was captain of our baseball team and whatnot. His brother Norman, about 6 years older than us, and his brother Michael was great too, but his brother Norman played for the Blue Jays for a long time in their organization. He got stuck in AAA. I don't remember if it was Syracuse or Utica, New York for years. Third baseman, he was behind Kelly Gruber, who was MVP level in the late 80s, and he kept him out of the big leagues. Then he switched him to catcher, and he was behind Pat Borders, a World Series MVP. If you were a shortstop in the Yankees organization over a 10 to 15 to 20-year period, you weren't playing. It's Derek Jeter, right? So you're in the minors. You're stuck in AAA. The other reason you get stuck in AAA is because you're not quite good enough to be in the show, but you're a real good AAA player. You're more like a coach on the field. You work with the young players, and you have a lot of value there with those prospects in AAA because what will happen is they'll send guys down for rehab assignments in AAA, but they want like that coach type of guy on the bench in AA especially, and then in AAA. So up and down from AAA, way too many players coming back and forth from AAA, which tells you that they don't have a ton of great prospects in their system, and if they did, they'd be up here on a team like this, right? And, it's just a shame. But one real positive about this team today, and you took a good look at Garrett Crochet, right? 6'6", the lefty, like Randy Johnson out there. Doesn't throw quite as hard as the unit, but they made him throw 93 pitches in 4 innings. He threw 44 pitches in the 4th inning. The Marlins only got 1 run. They got a run in the 3rd and the run in the 4th, but he threw 4. They made him throw 44 pitches in the 4th inning, and I don't care how hard you throw. I don't care how many pitches you throw, and this dude's got a nice repertoire. I love to use big words. You guys know, like, repertoire is a nice word for me, but when I think about, like, Yanni Chirinos, right? He's got a sinker, slider, sinker, slider, sinker, slider. He's 92 on the sinker, 94 maybe, mid-80s on the slider. That's what he's got for you. But you're looking at a dude, massive, massive heat coming from Crochet. 98 miles an hour on the 4-seamer, and he's consistent with that 98, right? He's got a cutter that's about 93. So 98 on the 4-seamer and 93 on the cutter. They move in different directions, right? And they have about 5 mile an hour difference on that level of heat is a big, big difference, right? But this dude, later in the game, he's still coming at Jake Berger. He's throwing 98 in the 4th inning. He threw 44 pitches, and he threw 10 pitches to Jake Berger alone before Berger popped out. And he was the first batter of the inning. So De La Cruz struck out swinging after that. He threw 16 pitches to De La Cruz and Berger. Then he comes up and faces Jazz, walks him on 5 pitches. Brujan singles. But because he threw so many pitches in that inning, you know what I'm saying? They were able to get him out of the game. 44 pitches in an inning, and you're in the on-deck circle, and you're in the hole, and you're just watching pitch after pitch after pitch. And when you see the hitters in the on-deck circle, and they're like this, and every time the pitcher throws, they're going air swings, right? Timing. Oh, there's a slider. Timing. Oh, there's a sinker. Timing. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So they were able to time him up, and they only scored a run off him in that inning, and they got to within 1, 3-2. But what happened there, they did not like what they saw with Crochet, the White Sox, and he is not going to throw 100 pitches. They're not going to risk him at all. Why? Because that's 6'6", throwing almost 100 miles an hour, striking out every other hitter, it seems. This dude is a massive trade chip for the White Sox, and they are not going to mess that up no matter what. He's not going to finish the season in Chicago. They stink. They're terrible. They're 26-65. They're 10-36 on the road. I doubt the sports radio stations are even talking about these bums in Chicago. And by bums, I mean on the field. I don't know anything about them as people, but as baseball players this year, yes, B-U-M-S. Bums, okay? And the Marlins are 31-58, so you don't want to get me started on that. But at least they have a better record than the White Sox. And so that's something there, too. All right. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast right here on your Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We also have Locked On Sports today It is unbelievable, man. Locked On Sports Today is one of the greatest things you could ever possibly imagine. There's no screaming. People aren't yelling at each other. So if you have to turn down the volume while you're watching ESPN, Fox, you don't need to worry about that anymore, because Locked On Sports Today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day, brings you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Shh, nice and quiet. You don't need to yell at each other, boys and girls. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries. I see some comments coming in the chat. What is up, my man? Baseball fan, 31 wins. Arg. I know. You got the flags and the Eagles. Happy 4th of July. It is a win, brother. It is a win. I like this Dane Myers kid. Tell me what you think of him in the comments, man. He's an athlete. He's got an arm. He can hit. I think he could be a fixture on this team for a long time. Speaking of Dane Myers. And we are about to hop into our first break of the show. Still to come, Locked On Marlins postcast, and we are having a great time here today on the Locked On Podcast Network. There you see it. Marlins rally, top Sox 4-3. Great Dane Myers. And then Bulls in the pen, Brazoban, Puck, and Scott. Are you kidding me? 8 strikeouts, no hits, no runs, 1 walk. Otherwise, it would have been 4 innings of perfect relief from these unsung heroes. Day in and day out, they are unreal for this team. This bullpen is fantastic. If this team could learn to hit, Alcantara's on the DL all year. Obviously, you lose your ace to start the year. They've had, 11 starting pitchers this year off the top of my dome? And look at this dome. Like, the symmetry is nice there, isn't it? But think about all the pitchers on the IL. You lose your ace, Alcantara. Weathers is dealing. Strains a finger. Luzardo dealing. Lower back. You know what I'm saying? Bad year for that. But the bullpen has held whatever there has been to hold together for this season. The bullpen has done it. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries. Look at that over there. Great Dane. I could have put Great Scott in there too for Tanner Scott. Ryan Weathers in the forecast. All that's still to come on the other side of the break. We will look at how this team has been so bad early in games and how they're so good against the starters early in games. They're not doing anything. They love it when they get into the pen late. Late inning heroics for this team. They lead the majors in walk-off wins. What is it about these Miami Marlins that makes them the cardiac kids of 2024 in Major League Baseball? I'll hit that up on the other side. Locked On Marlins postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. This episode of your Locked On Marlins postcast is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. With summer travel heating up, especially for baseball games, you get to go on the road and watch your team win some games in the other team's stadium. You've got to explore those UF cities that you've always wanted to learn more about and stick it in your rival's face when your team beats them right on their home field. With hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com, you might find your perfect stay even in your baseball rival city, especially in your baseball rival city. Think about this, Miami Marlins fans, with the 4th of July just having gone by. Think about Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. The Marlins were just there playing the Nationals. Think about the come on out and beat the Mets in Queens. Think about going to New York City in the summertime. It's unbelievable, right? To go to cities like that and follow your team like you can do with the Miami Marlins. And of course, you got the Braves too, and the Phillies. Atlanta, Philadelphia, D.C., New York. What team has better cities to go to within their own division than the Marlins? You get there with Booking.com. Booking.yeah. From hotels that look over stadiums to family-friendly resorts, Booking.com has so many choices across the U.S. for your summer travel this MLB season. You can get the right stay that will make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your rivals, especially your rivals. Book today on Booking.com on the site or in the Booking.com app for Booking.com. Booking.yeah. Passion, drive, patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Man, that would have been perfect right there. See the eBay Motors? Millions of parts for your MVP. When you talk about ride or die, man, my girl heard me doing that spot, and she thought I meant her, keeping my ride or die alive, you know? I don't know what eBay Motors is going to do to keep her alive. Maybe some safety features, right? Buy some things for safety in the car. I am Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries. You see my name right there, at Jim Gries _. Lot of fun with you here today. Day in and day out, Locked On Marlins postcast. They win 4-3 today. They chip after losing and trailing 3-0. In this game. They do it against Garrett Crochet, the strikeout machine for the White Sox, and it was a nice win for Miami Marlins today, and snapping that 5-game win streak, or losing streak, I should say. 31-58 now on the season. Vidal Brujan had an RBI and a run scored. Edwards and Brujan's RBI singles came against Garrett Crochet, one of the hottest names on trade market, right? I talked about Brazoban, Puck, and Scott. 4 innings combined, no hits, no runs, 8 strikeouts. 8 strikeouts for those 3 dudes, And the bullpen's been the star of the show for the team this season, and we're going to talk in just a minute about why the late inning heroics keep happening. Crochet's 25, lefty, throwing like that, not making a ton of cheese yet. Man, can you imagine like the Yanks, the Dodgers? Ohtani's not even pitching. The Orioles, the Red Sox, to go out and get a dude like this, just change your socks, bro. Put on the red ones. Turn the white one red like Curt Schilling did with his marker. Curt Schilling, don't get me started. I was in Arizona when he and Randy Johnson were pitching for the D-backs, and red light Curt, as we called him, as everybody called him. I can't pitch anymore. Okay, you're out. The camera's on him in the World Series. No, don't take me out. You asked to come out. Anyway, long story short, that's why he's not in the Hall of Fame, because nobody likes him, and nobody ever really wants to see him in there. No one roots for a jackass, and that's a sad state of affairs. But I'll say this, with the Diamond, I was in the parade. I was in the dugout during the parade. 97 Marlins, 03 Marlins, there for all of it, man. And I'll tell you what, this Marlins team right here, and look, Crochet reminds you of Randy Johnson. That's why I brought up the D-backs anyway, and Schilling. But if the Red Sox had an ace like him, maybe not an ace, like a number 2 for them, I don't know. Maybe he's their ace. The Braves could use him. The Phillies have 4 really good pitchers. I don't know, but at 25 years of age, if you could get him now and lock him in, I mean, that's a lot of years and a lot of wins and a lot of great pitching for a team. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. But I'm looking forward to seeing that, because this dude can really chuck it. And the Marlins beat him. They just chip away. They continue to chip away. And the one thing about this team, right, we talk about how they don't take a lot of pitches. They swing early in counts. Early in games against good starting pitchers in particular, and everyone's good when you make it to the major leagues. Everyone's great when you make it to the major leagues. Who's great in the major leagues obviously makes a difference. But, man, when you talk about facing a starting pitcher, a lot of teams and hitters have the approach that you're going to sit back and you're always going to take the first pitch, maybe the first 2. Take until you get a strike, right? Strike 1. Okay, if he throws 2 balls first, then a strike, you take 3 pitches. 3 balls first, then a strike, you take 4 before you swing. First pitch strike, you take 1 maybe before you swing. But you fall behind in the count. That allows the pitcher to set you up for his out pitches, right? So you take a fastball right down the middle for a strike, which might be the best pitch you'll see in the entire at-bat. And then later in the game, you've seen that enough, you've been up a couple times, that's when you're more likely to go, okay, I've seen this fastball, I'm waiting for that thing. But then the good pitchers will hit you with a breaking pitch, first pitch your second time up, or a sinker, or something a little bit different. It's all a chess match, up, down, over, out, everything. Different pitches, different speeds, moving them around to keep the hitter off balance, because that's why changeups are so effective, because even the slightest bit being off balance and you're out in front of the ball, you're hitting a little tap ground ball, a little pop up the other way if you can. But if you can stay back on those balls, you can drive them. The fastballs, you don't have time. You got to boom right away. But if you can do what a guy like Derek Jeter used to do, like Luis Ariz does, like a Tony Gwynn used to do, you stay back and give yourself that extra split second and just pop those hands and shoot it the other way, which is almost impossible to do, especially for a righty, which makes those guys even more incredible. But you don't see a lot of teams as aggressive as Miami, and they swing at the first pitch. I don't know what the percentage is, but an absurd percentage of the time they swing at the first pitch. Young, aggressive. You like the aggressiveness, but it doesn't help with the pitchers you're facing. Berger did it, and they made it's a perfect example tonight. They made Crochet throw 44 pitches in the fourth inning, got his ass out of the game. That's what you do. That's why you take pitches. That's why you work counts, especially now. In this, we shall coddle these pitchers like they're newborn infants. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? But when I look at this with the Marlins and the way that they approach this, they swing at the first pitch, second pitch. You get a lot of 2, 3, 4 pitch at-bats, and even 1 pitch at-bats against this team, which the pitch counts stay low, the starters can stay in longer. You're facing them more times, so the Marlins' batting average as the game goes on is going to go up because you're facing that starter more times, because he's throwing fewer pitches, because you're not taking any. Make sense? Okay, as long as you're still following me here. Why then, when the relievers come in, is it different? Is it different? The only thing I can think of, as a guy who played the game, has been covering a long time, is that you're warmed up, you're in the game, you've taken a bunch of swings, you've had a couple ABs, you're in the flow of the game, you're locked on, right? So, yeah, it's different. But when you bring in a different type of pitcher, right? Let's say you're facing a dude like Crochet. He's throwing 98 with the four-seamer. He's throwing 92 with the cutter. If this dude develops a nasty slider, ooh, baby, look out. Look out. And maybe even a sinker. That'd be deadly. And he's going to be gone anyway. I wonder what team he's going to end up on. So when I think about what the Marlins do with the relief pitchers coming in, you're locked in, you're warmed up, you've been in the action of the game, you're facing one type of pitcher. And then let's say he's a lefty and you're a righty. The matchup favors you-ish on paper, on the screen, whatever. You faced him twice, right? Then they bring in the reliever. He's a righty. He's throwing softer stuff. He's throwing a changeup with a sinker. Maybe he's 91, 92, and maybe he's got a breaking ball, right? You're watching him warm up, and you're knowing after being dialed in and you face a pitcher who's throwing so hard, you know you're going to have to stay back that extra split second against this dude. But you have more time to catch up. So the second he throws his fastball, you are all over that pitch. And he's got almost no chance to get you out. You see what I'm saying there? I really enjoy this. This is a lot of fun breaking it down for you on this level, because I really do have a lot of fun doing this. And there's Baseball Fan 31, my boy. Bullpen is the best. I thought it was our what? I thought it was our con, but I guess not. I don't know what that means, Baseball Fan 31, if you could help me out there. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries. I am pumped to be here today, as I am every day, especially on a day like today. 4-3 Marlins. Great Dane with a 2-run shot, 420-foot bomb. He's got an arm. He's been throwing dudes out of the plate. I really like Dane Myers. So between Myers and Gordon and Jazz, that's your outfield with DLC. You got the DH in there. You got Bell. Berger can move over to first. You put Rivera at third. They have a decent team here. You need one big hitter, maybe two in the middle of the lineup, and then you also need an ace pitcher. You bring back an ace pitcher. Alcantara next year comes back as well. He's your 2. Then you got Weathers and Luzardo, and you throw in a righty. Maybe it's Edward Cabrera. Maybe. I think he might be the dude. He's pitching tomorrow, by the way, coming off the IL. So those injured pitchers are going to slowly start making their way back into the lineup for the Miami Marlins, into the rotation, into the bullpen, into wherever they need to be. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, wherever you get your podcasts on the audio side. And then, of course, right here on the YouTube, where you can see this handsome face every single day. We'll be doing the Dolphins. We'll be doing the University of Miami football team and the Miami Heat. Will they get DeMar DeRozan? I don't know. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, at Jim Gries _. We are going to roll on and wrap it up. Tell you about Cabrera coming off the IL and what a shot in the arm that could be for the Miami Marlins. but not until I remind you about our good friends at Tax Network USA. Here at Locked On Marlins Postcast, I pride myself. And on the Locked On Podcast Network, we pride ourselves on getting you the latest every single day, the news for your team. Whether it's the offseason, the draft, spring training, or the playoffs, it's year-round. And you know this, man. It's year-round. You know what else is year-round? Collection season. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean the IRS will stop coming after you for unfiled taxes. That's right, the IRS can garnish your wages. The IRS can levy your bank accounts. That means they can take your money, and they can even seize your property, your home, your vehicles. You know the IRS. Anything you own, they will. Not just can, they will get it. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With over 14 years of experience and an A-plus rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt, and they can do it for you too. Whether you owe, not a billion, but some. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay. Need help correctly filing? Call 1-800-549-1000. That's 1-800-549-1000. Or visit Tax Network USA's website at tnusa.com/lockedon, tnusa.com/LOCKEDON. Locked On, baby. And be sure to mention Locked On Marlins Postcast at checkout. You will receive a $250 discount off their services at Tax Network USA. And what about that? I mean, nothing's more patriotic than paying your taxes, right? All right. But I'll tell you what, nothing's better than getting money back for everything you buy. I mean, there's not enough of that left in the world. Remember, you're a kid, you get a savings account, you actually got money in interest, and the levels of interest were so much higher. The ways to make money off your purchases have dwindled over the years, and I don't really like it. But with this summertime season in full effect, EFFECT, baby, in full effect, you're buying sandals, you're buying sunscreen, snacks for the kids, you're buying a ton this summer. You're taking a vacation, you're going to the shore. You know what I'm saying? It's barbecue season. Yeah, you're going to buy everything. You don't have to choose between burgers and dogs. So if you use Ibotta, why? Because IBOTTA is the way, baby. Ibotta. What is Ibotta? IBOTTA. I am so glad that you asked, because you don't have to stress about the cost of money anymore. You use Ibotta, IBOTTA, and you get cash back on all your purchases when you stock up on your summer essentials. Talking about making memories instead of worrying about the cash flow, getting money back on purchases that helps reline your pockets as cash is flying out of them like it's being vacuumed, right? Ibotta, it's a free app, IBOTTA, a free app that lets you earn cash back every time you shop. Earn on hundreds of items, from groceries to beauty supplies, even toys, so you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user, IBOTTA, earns $256 per year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip, that flight you've been eyeing, or the fancy dinner you've been craving. How do I know? My son just got a ticket to Tokyo because of what he's been getting back. Other apps give you points that don't amount to much. With Ibotta, IBOTTA, you earn cash back that you can withdraw to your bank account, PayPal, gift cards. Simply add offers in the app, upload your receipt, and voila, the money is yours. You can save on over 2,400 brands and shop at over 1,000 retailers, including your favorite grocery stores, Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. It's time you join the over 50 million users who use IBOTTA Ibotta to earn cash back every time they shop. Right now, Ibotta, IBOTTA, is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta and using the code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. It's $5. It's free. Just go to the App Store, Google Play Store, download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB. That's IBOTTA, Ibotta, in the Google Play or App Store, and use code LOCKEDONMLB. What'd you do this weekend, Gries? I bought a whole bunch of stuff on Ibotta, and I got cash back from IBOTTA. All right, man, we are wrapping it up right here on your Locked On Marlins postcast. Got the Sox tomorrow again. Plus 115 for the Chi Sox, minus 135 for the Fish. Remember, Marlins in the under, I told you today. Marlins and the under, and it hit tomorrow. The total, 8.5, and the overs plus 105 with the under at minus 125. minus 135. The Marlins, the favorite tomorrow, with Edward Cabrera making his return. 1-2 with a 7.7 ERA and a 1.59 whip in 21 in the third innings. He has allowed 20 hits. He struck out 31, walked 14, and he has hit 3 home runs. Look at my son, Colin. I love my boy. Unbelievable. Anyway, so he's going to pitch tomorrow against Jonathan Cannon. The game starts at 1:40 p.m. Eastern time, and we have got just something here on Cabrera for you real quick. Edward Cabrera coming off the IL. He was on the 60-day injured list. And, man, he hasn't pitched since May 7th against the Dodgers when he went 2 innings, allowing 4 runs on just 1 hit, walked 4. He walked 4 the timeout before that. He's had some troubles with injuries, had some trouble with, a bunch of things. But this dude, 26 years old, 6'5", he can bring the heat. And, I'm looking forward to seeing him back and seeing if that arm is healthy, because he is a strikeout machine. I mean, you're talking in 2023, last year, 118 strikeouts in 99 innings, which is really good, I don't have to tell you. And, that was a year where he started 20 games last year, went 7-7. They were really looking at him to be a steadying presence and a strong presence in the rotation this year. Number 27 from Santiago, Dominican Republic, Edward Cabrera, comes back tomorrow for the Miami Marlins, and he will face Cannon for the White Sox. So, I mean, obviously, Cannon doesn't have a cannon. Jonathan Cannon, 39 innings, only 32 strikeouts. But we'll see that game tomorrow. Again, the numbers, 8.5 is the over-under, plus 105 for the Sox, minus 125 for the Fish, plus 115 for Chicago, minus 135 for the Marlins. Again, Dane Myers with a 2-run shot in the bottom of the 7th led the way for your Miami Marlins as they beat the White Sox from Chicago 4-3. Again, 4 innings of relief for Brazoban, Puck, and Scott. No runs, no hits, 1 walk. 1 by Brazoban. 8 strikeouts. Great job by the bullpen today for the Miami Marlins, the star of the show. Yeah, the bullpen won, Dane Myers 2, and who's the 3rd star of the day? Take your pick. Maybe Xavier Edwards drove in the other run, and you know what I'm saying? Or maybe the Marlins training staff for what's going on. Anyway, so it says that Jonathan Cannon will start for the White Sox. He's 1-2 with a 4.62 against Cabrera. Weathers is not throwing yet, but he's working out with the team. No word on Luzardo. Josh Bell had the day off today. Let's see, where are we at? One more thing before we go. No, I think that about does it. Dane Myers with a big shot for the Fish to get that going. And, Marlins 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors. White Sox 3-6 and none. They wrap it up tomorrow again, about 1:40 p.m. first pitch, and we will be here right after with your Locked On Marlins postcast. That's all there is, Fish fans. There is no more. Your Locked On Marlins postcast on your Saturday, July 6th, 2024. 4-3 Marlins, 4 unanswered runs, 2-run shot by Dane Myers in the 7th. Beautiful job by the bullpen for 4 consecutive innings of incredible baseball that they pitched, and the Marlins snap a 5-game win streak. That's all there is, Fish fans. There is no more. Your Locked On Marlins postcast will be here tomorrow right after the game, and we thank you so much for making us your first listen every day. We're free, available wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. Locked On Sports Miami, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And, of course, want to thank Booking.com, our title sponsor for today. And one more thing before we get out of here, I want to remind you one more time that Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. That is right, on YouTube. And now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app. It's litty like New York City. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league, just about. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. As we get on out of here, thank you so much for being here. We'll be here tomorrow. Want to remind you to always keep on watching and listening to your Locked On Marlins postcast, Locked On Marlins, Locked On Sports Miami, and the entire Locked On Podcast Network. And always, no matter what this crazy life throws at you, keep your game tight and your mind right. I'm out.